On the pasuk Al Tira Avram, Hashem says, "Don't be afraid, Avram. Anochi magin loch, I'm protecting you. Schorcha harbim yod, you have lots of reward." Rashi explains that Avram was worried that because of the miracles that happened to him so far, with killing the kings at the war, etc., he received all of his reward already. So Hashem says to him, "Do not worry. Don't be afraid. You have lots of reward coming to you." The Rebbe's question is: we know that Avram Avinu is usually the prime example of someone who served Hashem completely out of love with no concern for himself. How does it make sense that he is worried and concerned about his reward, that Hashem should have to say, don't worry, don't be afraid, you still have plenty of reward coming? Says the Rebbe, we cannot say that maybe for Avraham Avinu the reward would have only been a sign whether he's doing his avodah properly, and if he doesn't have a reward coming, maybe that's a sign that he didn't do his avodah fully, and that's why he's worried. Because if that's the case, Hashem should have said something along the lines of, don't be afraid, Avraham, you're working, you're serving perfectly. Not focusing just on the reward aspect. In order to understand this, the Rebbe is going to explore a very interesting story in the Zohar, in connection to this pasuk on our parsha. And the story goes as follows. Rab Abba made the following announcement. Anybody that wants to have richness and olam haba should come and learn Torah. A certain ravuk, a certain bachelor came and said he wants to learn Torah so that he should be able to become rich. Reb Abba asked him, what's your name? He said his name is Yosi. Reb Abba says to his Talmidim, from now on you should call him Reb Yosi, the master of richness and honor. Some time passes, Reb Yosi is learning, some time passes, he comes to Reb Abba and says, where's my money? Where's my wealth? So Reb Abba says, this seems to be implying that this person was never learning Torah l'shem shamayim. Reb Abba then hears a voice that says, do not punish him, implying that he wanted to punish him, as the Mefarshim explained. He wanted to daven that he should die. The Baskel says, don't punish him, because he's going to become a great person. Reb Abba says to Reb Yosi, continue learning Torah and I will provide you with wealth. The Zohar goes on. A certain rich man that was not Zoicha so far to be able to learn Torah comes to Reb Abba and says he's ready to give away money. He wants to give away his wealth for someone that's going to learn for his chus, for him. Reb Abba says to Rabbi Yosi, you learn and this man will give you wealth. The Zohar goes on how he had given Rabbi Yosi a special kois, a special goblet, a special cup made of pazav, a special type of gold. And Rabbi Yosi learned and this man was providing him with wealth. Some time passed. Rabbi Yosi finally understands the preciousness of Torah, and he starts crying for the fact that he exchanged his chus of Torah for wealth. Rabbi Abba says, now we can see that he's really learning Torah l'shma. He calls the rich man. He says, take all your wealth, give it to the poor, give it to the orphans, and I'll take care of you getting a portion in Torah as well. Rabbi Yosi returns the kois, that kois of paz, that kois of richness, kois of gold, to the wealthy man. And as the Zohar goes on and says that up until today, because of this story, we call him Rabbi Yosi ben Pazi, because of this kois of paz. The Rebbe says in this story, there seems to be a number of questions. So to mention a few, the Rebbe says. Number one, why does Rabbi Abba want to punish him for not learning Lishma? We know there's a famous halacha, mitoich shaloi l'shma, a person should learn Torah even shaloi l'shma, because from shaloi l'shma, ultimately you will come to learn Lishma. Especially that Rabbi Abba himself is the one that made the announcement. Whoever wants to become rich, come and learn. Point number two, says the Rebbe, what's this business of returning the cup? It sounds like he's trying to retroactively undo the whole deal, but seemingly the Torah was given already to the rich man. The rich man was zoichen already. How can you take that back? And finally, the Rebbe says, the fact that we're calling him Ben Pazi, seemingly we're trying to bring out some sort of greatness about this Rabbi Yosi, and seemingly on the contrary, this is sort of reminding us that he initially was learning Torah Shaloi Lishma. And furthermore, we're not supposed to remind about Tshuva about his past. Why are we reminding or mentioning this story back, reminding him again about it was all originally for the gold? And then the Rebbe asks two other questions. Number one, the Rebbe says, as a result of this Baskoil, the Baskoil says that he's going to be a great person. This is why Rabbi Abba doesn't end up punishing him. But the question is, either way you look at it, there seems to be a problem. If this person deserves punishment for not learning L'Shem Shamayim, then what does it help that he's going to eventually be a great person? Is that a reason that he doesn't deserve a punishment now? Is that a reason to be able to learn right now for wealth? If he does not deserve a punishment, then why do we need the reason that he's going to be a great person? And finally, the Rebbe asks, why is it relevant in the story that the person that came, Rabbi Yossi, he was originally introduced as a ravak, as a bachelor? Says the Rebbe, the explanation is, when we speak about learning Torah in order to get a reward, it could be generally two ways. One is that the person is learning Torah for the reward that he's going to get from Hashem, either in Olam Haba or even in Olam Haza, that Hashem is going to make sure that he gets rich and gets honor, etc. Then there's a lower form, that the person is taking for himself honor or wants to get a parnos out of it. And in other words, he's making a career out of it or trying to get his honor out of it. And here there's something not only that it's shaloi l'shma, but it's also what's called kardum lachter, you're using Torah as a tool to be able to benefit out of it. Says the Rebbe, now we can go back and start understanding the story. When Reb Abba announced who wants to become rich, he was referring to reward being paid by Hashem. And he thought that's why Rabbi Yossi is coming as well. And that's why he's letting him learn Torah. But when Rabbi Yossi comes and starts demanding, where's my money, where's my wealth, he's showing that originally his understanding was that Rabbi Abba is going to pay him. Rabbi Abba is going to make him wealthy. And that's why he wants to punish him. Because this kind of Torah, it's not only not learning Lishma, but again, he's using Torah itself, called using the crown of Torah, which the punishment for this, it says, is Nekam and Olam, he gets uprooted from the world. And the Rebbe says this will help us understand one of the questions he asked, why is he being introduced as a ravak, as a bachelor? Because if you would have a family, then there could still be some limud zchus and say that he's looking for the wealth because he needs to feed his family, and there's still some sort of heter to learn in that way. But if he's a bachelor, then he wants the wealth purely just to be wealthy. For that, there's definitely no heter. And that's why Rabbi Abba wants to punish him. But now, says the Rebbe, the question becomes even stronger. Then how does the Baskol help saying that eventually he will be a great man? Says the Rebbe, we're going to understand this by looking a little bit deeper in the meaning of the words, mitoich shaloi l'shma ba l'shma. This doesn't only mean that when a person learns shaloi l'shma, well, ultimately, eventually he will learn l'shma. What it also means is that the very toich, the pnimius, right now is also l'shma. That's right, mitoich shaloi l'shma. Right now, the very inside of the person is always l'shma. Because deep down, every single yid wants to do the Ratzon Hashem, the will of Hashem. Nevertheless, obviously, not always we consider what's going on in the pnimius. The Rebbe explains. Tosfos tells us that the fact that a person could learn shaloi l'shma is, for example, in this case, that he wants to get honor. But what about a person who wants to learn Torah just to be able to put down other people? He's only learning Torah to be able to knock other people. Then we say, Noach lo shaloi nivra, would have been better, he wouldn't have been even created. Why the difference? Seemingly over here, you could also say, deep down inside, there's a lishma. Deep down inside, he's a yid who wants to do the right thing. So the Rebbe explains this by examining more closely these words, mitoich shaloi l'shma ba l'shma. The Rebbe gives a deeper explanation. It doesn't only mean that the toich, the inside of every yid, is always good. Rather, what it means is the pnimius of the shaloi l'shma itself is really l'shma. That means that even if on the superficial level, the person, for example, feels that he wants richness and honor, but really the deeper part of that richness and honor itself is l'shma. The fact that he wants richness and honor, that's his guf. That's as far as his guf is concerned. But really, deep down inside, there's a ratzon of the neshama for these very things. Why? Because when a person that learns Torah gets rich and becomes rich and gets honor, this itself increases kavod shamayim. People see in an open way that through Torah and mitzvahs you are blessed with all good things. So that's the pshat, mitoich shaloi l'shma, the very inside of the shaloi l'shma itself. There's something really deeper going on over here. It's a l'shma, it's something coming from the neshama. But when does this apply? That's only in the type of shaloi l'shma that you could say there's something good about it on a deeper level. Whereas when a person is learning Torah just to tease other people, to knock other people, to put other people down, there's nothing good inside of it at all, you then definitely cannot say that the toich, the inside of that, is l'shma. So now we come back to the story of the Baskol. When the Baskol says he's going to be a great person, what was the concern of Rab Abba? The concern of Rab Abba was that richness, seemingly, there's absolutely no heter for it. The Baskel is coming to clarify that really there could be even a good aspect in becoming rich as a result of Torah as well. There could be a lishma in that as well. Because there's a halacha regarding someone that's a rabbi, that the whole community needs him, or the Godel Hadoir, then there's a concept that the tzibur, the public, the community needs to make him, give him his parnas and even make him wealthy. And that's what the Baskel is saying, that this Rabbi Yossi is going to be a great person. And therefore he's allowed to learn Torah now as well because of this richness that he thinks he wants because of other reasons, but really it's his neshama saying that he has so much great potential that he's someone that needs to become rich, but again, rich for the right reasons, for the right purposes, to add in kavod shamayim. Says the Rebbe, now we're going to go back to why he gives back that kois of gold and why he's called Ben Pazi. First of all, the Rebbe says the fact that the tzibur, that the crowd is going to make him rich and great and all of that, obviously doesn't cause in such a person a feeling of gaiva chas v'shalom. On the contrary, specifically because he's a Gadol Adar that has such tremendous bittul to Hashem, he has the ability, he knows how, and he has the ability to transform and to utilize all the richness that it should only be for adding in kavod shamayim. So now back to our story. On the one hand, Rabbi Yossi returns the cup. He doesn't, of course he's not taking away the previous chusim that the rich man got from his Torah. That you can't do. But he wants to show to what extent learning Torah Lishma is to be, and he wants to give away the cup. But at the same time, we're calling him Ben Pazi in a positive way. Pazi means my pas. It became his completely. In other words, he has such power over the richness, over wealth, that he can completely transform it. That it should only be for the sake of Hashem, only for the honor of Hashem. And back now to Avraham Avinu, when Hashem says to him, "Schorcha harbi miyod," you have lots of reward. Although we said, isn't Avraham just serving out of love of Hashem? Why are we speaking about his reward? Because again, the Rebbe says, on the contrary, specifically because he's serving out of love. So all of the reward is not for himself. It's all as part of his avodah to Hashem. Because of all the greatness, all of the benefit, all of the reward that he's going to get is not about increasing his own greatness, but again, only about increasing and publicizing and making great the name of Hashem.